Hello everyone. So I've got another card kit to share. This is the Simon Says stamp June 2021 with 6 cards, 1 kit, plus a slimline bonus at the end. For card 1, for all the cards I've made my own card bases. This one's a top folding. I'm going to use the polka dot colorful paper. It covers the full card front. Using the dauber here to trace out a circle. And then I'm using the sunshine ink, the orangey color that comes in the kit, to stencil in the sun rays around my penciled circle and just color in there a little bit. And that's a placeholder for the puff, the little yellow puff that comes in the kit. So then we're going to cut out a frame here. I'm using a die. You can use a ruler and a blade. You'll need some acetate and then another piece of the pattern paper. So I'm going to stick my acetate down with double stick tape here, and then using anti-static powder bag to get rid of some of the static. And I'm going to make a well around this frame with mounting tape to corral my sequins. There's my little collection of sequins, and I'm picking out a couple, actually a few here. Some pink circles, hexagonal white iridescent one, and a teal colored star sequin. Just dropping a few in there, and then I'm going to use the purple dot pattern paper as the background here for my little shaker. And then I'm going to put a ton of tape runner, and adhere that to the front of my card. I'm just using wet glue to adhere the little yellow puff. This was tacky glue that I had nearby, but maybe not the best choice. But then I set that aside to dry, and I have used a die from my stash, Celebrate. It's a Spellbinders die I got in a card kit, and cut it out of the rainbow mirror card, kind of the pink side there, and that's it for card number 1. It's really cute how it turned out. Now card number 2, I'm going to do another window, but this time it's not a shaker. So I have cut out a rectangle out of that blue dot paper, and then I've cut a rectangle from the rainbow patterned paper, the rainbows with the clouds, and placed that down in the center of the card, and then I've used some mounting tape to raise up the blue dot window, and so it's got a recessed window there, but no acetate. I'm using the stamp set here, using those long arcs to stamp out with the ink cubes that came in the kit, and then I just fussy cut out that rainbow and covering up the end of it with a stamped and fussy cut cloud from the stamp set as well. Now I'm going to use some mounting tape in the middle of my rainbow where it goes into that recessed area, but then wet glue to adhere the rainbow to the frame of the card there. And there's I'm hanging it over a little bit on the top, and I just trim off the excess. I've stamped out all the sentiments that came in the stamp set on this card here, and I'm just picking one out with this little trimmer I have. I chose You Make Me Happy, and I'm going to use the mounting tape again to adhere it in the recessed area, and some wet glue over where it hangs over on the frame. Then pulling these beautiful gems out that came in the kit. I struggled trying to pull it off with my finger, but I only did that for the first one. As you can see, the tweezers are very useful for pulling these off and placing them on, choosing kind of just a random assortment of colors and placing them kind of just here and there where I thought it looked all right. And that's it for card number 2. For card number 3, I have my little box of goodies here. The idea I had was swiping the ink cubes in kind of a rainbowy pattern. So we're taking a piece of cardstock that is it's panel size and lightly swiping the ink cube. I started with light, and I can always press down harder, but it's very imprecise. I really liked the swipe brushstroke look. And then I'm using a die to select where I want to cut that out, and putting some fun foam and double stick adhesive to raise that little panel up off the card base. And then I took the die that comes in the kit and cut it out of that same cardstock. It's a Nina Solar White cardstock. And I'm using some Post-it tape here, Post-it note, to selectively put the ink onto the cardstock. I tried a variety of ways of getting this ink color onto this die because I wanted to have the different colors on there. And actually, the way I preferred was with the dauber, with the foam. It's not really a dauber, is it? The foam that came, the domed foam that came in the kit. And I love the vibrancy of the color you can get. I did try, using water. I think because it's hybrid ink, I don't know. It didn't work very well with a water brush. It didn't work very well with a special marker that's used to transfer ink. I'd like to try this with die cutting it out of watercolor cardstock and using watercolor to color it in. But I wanted to stick to what's in the kit. So that's how I did it, and I really like how that turned out. Now I've stamped out the You Make Me Happy in that Hot Lips color, the reddish color. And then I'm just going to use wet glue to place this rainbow down and use foam tape to pop up the sentiment there in the bottom right. And that finishes off this card. So on to card number 4. I'm going to use that orange dot pattern paper and stick that down flat. It's just smaller than the card front. Then I am going to stencil out a rainbow using the stencil and the foam. And I think I showed my kind of mistake version. I really, with this stencil, really needed to mask off everything that I didn't want to get ink on. And that worked out a lot better. But I really like how vibrant you can get the ink colors with these foam applicators. So, and then I'm wiping off some of the excess ink on the stencil there because I don't want to create mud by mixing the brown and the green on the stencil. And then moving over to the second largest arc over here, and I'm again going to tape off all those areas because when I first tried it, I got ink all over where I didn't want it. And then going to go in with the sunshine color and finally with the blue for the final arc. I really like how that turned out. So with just a bit of tape, and I did move the tape because this is a hybrid ink, so it stays wet a little longer. So I moved the tape to clean sides so that I didn't smear it. Again, fun foam with double stick adhesive to raise that panel up for a little bit of dimension. And we're going to use the stencil again for this middle cloud here. And again, tape off areas. And for the first cloud, I'm going to be kind of heavy-handed and get a lot of ink down on there. Then I'm going to slide it to the right and do that again. But for my third cloud in the middle, I'm not re-inking the dauber and I'm being a little lighter. I do add a little bit of ink here, but using a lot lighter hand because I want that third cloud to be lighter. And then I'm going to fussy cut this all out, and very carefully this time, although I'm not great at fussy cutting. And using a little bit of the thinner foam tape that I have, it's a little bit of dimension. I'm going to pop that up at the bottom of the rainbow there and pull my little scrap of sentiments out. And for this one, I'm choosing rainbow is my favorite color, and I actually used all 4 ink cubes and just kind of selectively stamped those 4 colors on there. And that's it for the 4th card. For the 5th card, we've got a few of the pattern papers. Here I'm using this rainbow stripe in a strip on the side, on the left side, and then the text, the rainbow text pattern paper next to it. Then I took a square of the rainbow mirror card, and I'm going to place that down here. And I have another square of just white cardstock, which I'm going to stamp that smaller arced rainbow onto. And for each of these, I stamp 2 to 3 times with my stamping platform. I have some, what is that, like sticky stuff, sticky grid on there because I'm not using the magnets. It's holding it in place so that I can stamp multiple times in the same place. And this card turned out different than what I was planning. I don't know what happened to my original idea, but so I'm pulling in these hearts because there was this big blank white spot that I was going to put the sentiment in, but then I ended up putting my square much higher on the card and using the sentiment on the lower part of the card. So I stamped each of the hearts down below the rainbow. Then I'm going to place that in the center of my mirror card here. And pulling out my stamped sentiments, I choose You Are My Rainbow on a Cloudy Day. But it was a little too white on white. So I used the excess ink that's on each of these foam applicators to just color in that white paper in kind of a mix, a rainbowy mix of colors. And I liked it. That looked great. I liked how that turned out. So I'm gonna place that down, and I ended up lining it up with the square. I kind of fiddled with it a lot, but that's it for card number 5. On to the 6th card. I am using a die that I got in a previous Simon Says stamp kit. I believe it was a February kit, but I don't remember exactly. And I'm going to try to find the center of this white cardstock panel and eyeball the window die to put it in the center and cut those windows out. Now I'm going to mark those windows with my pencil, and then I'm going to take 3 squares of the pattern paper here and glue those down, and they're slightly larger than the window opening, so they'll cover up my pencil lines perfectly. And it doesn't even have to be lined up just right, because since they're a little larger, the windows will cover it. So I'm trimming down this panel to be slightly smaller than the card front, and then I'm going to use the foam tape to raise it up. Doing a lot of recessed windows, I guess, with these cards today. And I place that down and get rid of my pencil marks, anything left. And then these cute stickers, these Doodlebug stickers, I'm gonna stick a rainbow in the center. Now, if I was really thinking about it, I would have stamped my sentiment on that panel before I put it on the foam tape, but I ended up doing it this way, and it worked just fine because of having my stamping platform and being able to do that. So there was kind of a smudge of black ink, though. I'm not sure where that came from. So I pull out my sand eraser, Tombow Mono sand eraser, and was able to remove that larger smudge of black ink. And that's it for the 6th card. And here I will just slowly show all of them. Thanks for watching. I hope you have got some ideas to try with this kit. Please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And I'll just put some music on as I show these last cards. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye!